The alarm sounds. 6 a.m. It's not a clean, sharp ring, but a muffled, distant intrusion into the deep comfort of your sleep. Before your eyes are even fully open, the negotiation begins. It's a silent, instantaneous courtroom drama that plays out in the theater of your mind. The prosecution presents its case. The warmth of the bed, a fortress of comfort against the world. The weight of the duvet, a comforting pressure that says, stay. The memory of a dream, still clinging to the edges of your consciousness, far more appealing than the reality that awaits. Then the defense argues its points, but its voice is weak, tired. It mumbles something about responsibility, about the workout you promise yourself you'd do, about the meeting you can't afford to be late for. But the prosecution is relentless. It reminds you of the chill of the air beyond the covers, the shock of the cold floor on your bare feet. It paints a vivid picture of the day ahead, the tedious commute, the demanding boss, the endless list of tasks that seem to drain the very life from you. And then it offers you a deal, a plea bargain, just 5 more minutes. What harm could it do? It's a small concession, a tiny moment of grace before the battle of the day begins. You reach out your hand, a slow, drowsy movement, and you find the button. You press it. Snooze. In that single, seemingly insignificant action, you have just signed the terms of your surrender. You have abdicated the throne of your own life for 9 more minutes of broken, low-quality sleep. You have just declared, in the first conscious moment of your day, that your feelings are your master. This is the harsh, unvarnished reality for 99% of men. They wake up not as commanders of their own lives, but as passengers. They immediately cede control to the most unreliable forces imaginable: their fatigue, their mood, their fleeting desire for comfort. Their day is not a deliberate sequence of actions they have chosen, but a series of reactions to things that happen to them. The traffic is bad, so they are angry. A client cancels, so they are frustrated. The coffee isn't strong enough, so they are sluggish. They are a ship without a rudder, tossed about by the unpredictable waves of emotion and circumstance. The 1% are different. They operate under a completely different set of laws. For them, the alarm is not a suggestion. It is not an invitation to a debate. It is a command. It is the starting pistol for a race they have already decided to win. There is no negotiation. The verdict was reached the night before when they set the alarm. Their action is automatic, a conditioned response built through relentless discipline. Feet on the floor. Mission initiated. They understand a fundamental truth that the 99% have forgotten. The day is not something that happens to you. It is a territory to be conquered. It is a canvas on which you will impose your will. The very first battle in this campaign is won or lost in the first 5 seconds of consciousness. It is the moment you choose between being the agent of your destiny or the victim of your feelings. And for far too long, you have been losing this battle. You have been surrendering, day after day, before the war has even begun. You believe the trap is external. You tell yourself a story, and you have become very good at telling it. It's a story where you are the noble victim, battling against insurmountable odds. The demanding boss who doesn't see your value. The soul-crushing commute that drains your energy before the day even begins. The relentless negativity of the news. The unfairness of the economy. You point to these things, these external forces, and you say, quote, _0_. And in that moment, you feel a strange sense of relief. You have found the villain of your story, and it isn't you. This narrative is a powerful anesthetic. It numbs the pain of your own inaction. It protects your fragile ego from the devastating truth. The world is not your problem. The real trap isn't out there. It has been inside you all along. The real trap, the one that has you in a chokehold, is your strategy. Or rather, your complete lack of one. Your entire operational model is based on a single, catastrophic flaw. You are waiting. You are waiting for the right feeling to arrive before you take action. You wake up and you consult your emotions, as if they were a wise oracle. You ask your fatigue for permission to get out of bed. You ask your anxiety for permission to make the sales call. You ask your boredom for permission to go to the gym. You are waiting for the magical spark of motivation. You are waiting for a lightning bolt of inspiration. You are waiting for the universe to align and present you with the perfect mood to finally do the things you know you must do. This is not a strategy for success. This is a strategy for paralysis. It is a formal, written declaration that your feelings, the most fleeting and unreliable part of your consciousness, are your supreme commander. Every single time you surrender to a bad mood, you are doing more than just losing that one moment. You are not simply postponing a task. You are actively participating in a training program. You are teaching your mind, through repetition, that your emotional state is the final authority on your actions. You are reinforcing the mental chains that keep you weak. Think of it like this. A warrior forges his armor through heat and pressure. He hammers the steel again and again, making it stronger with every blow. You are doing the exact opposite. Every time you say, quote one, and surrender, you are taking a hammer to your own mental armor. You are systematically denting it, weakening it, creating vulnerabilities. One day, when a real crisis hits, when life delivers a truly devastating blow, you will look for your armor and find nothing but a pile of broken, rusted metal. You have been destroying it yourself, one weak decision at a time. The reality, the one you have been avoiding, is this. Discipline is not an emotion. It is not a feeling you can summon. It is not a mood. Discipline is a choice. It is an action. It is a system. It is the conscious, deliberate decision to act, regardless of how you feel. It is the understanding that feelings are merely suggestions from a primitive part of your brain, not commands from a king. Motivation is a fair weather friend. It shows up when the sun is shining and the path is easy. Discipline is the grizzled veteran who shows up in the pouring rain, in the mud, in the dark, and simply does the job. It has nothing to do with passion or enthusiasm. It has everything to do with commitment. Your fundamental error, the very root of your stagnation, is that you believe you must feel good to act. But the truth is the reverse. You must act to feel good. Your reliance on feeling, your desperate wait for the right mood, is the very architecture of your failure. 2,000 years ago, a man who was born a slave, whose leg was deliberately broken by a cruel master, discovered a mental law so powerful it granted him more freedom than the emperor of Rome. His name was Epictetus, and he gave us the fundamental code that separates the executor from the victim. It is not a gentle philosophy for quiet contemplation. It is an operating system for reality. He called it the Dichotomy of Control, and it is the single most important weapon you will ever add to your arsenal. The law is brutally simple. Some things are within our power, and some things are not. That is it. That is the entire framework. And within that simplicity lies the key to absolute personal authority. Let's first examine the territory that is not yours to command. This is the vast, chaotic landscape where the 99% of men waste their entire lives fighting battles they are guaranteed to lose. Your genetics, the family you were born into, the weather that ruins your plans, the global economy that shutters businesses, the opinion your boss has of you, the way a stranger looks at you in passing, the traffic jam that makes you late. All of it, every last bit, is completely outside of your control. To invest a single joule of your mental or emotional energy into raging against these things is to willingly place the shackles on your own wrists. It is to volunteer for victimhood. Every moment you spend complaining about the rain, you are not just getting wet. You are choosing to be miserable about something you cannot change. You are surrendering your inner state to a random meteorological event. You are giving authority over your mind to the clouds. This is the definition of insanity. It is a strategic error of catastrophic proportions, repeated billions of times a day across the planet. Now, let us turn to your actual kingdom, the territory that is 100%, unequivocally, yours. What is up to you? Your judgment, your perspective, the opinions you choose to hold, the principles you decide to live by, your actions, the words you speak, the effort you exert, your response to the things you cannot control. That is your entire battlefield. It may seem small in comparison to the vastness of the external world, but within its borders, you are the absolute sovereign. The 99% spend their lives staring over the fence, screaming at their neighbor's yard. The 1%, the executors, turn their gaze inward. They focus with surgical precision only on the things they can command. They understand that true power is not the ability to change the world, but the ability to master oneself in the face of it. They do not waste time wishing the road was clear. They use the time in traffic to listen to a book or prepare for their meeting. They do not complain about the rain. They simply pick up an umbrella. They do not get lost in anger over a critical comment. They analyze it for any useful data and discard the rest as noise. They do not complain about the mission they are given. They execute it to the absolute best of their ability. They have defined their area of operation, and they never, ever stray from it. This is not a passive acceptance of fate. It is the highest form of strategic engagement with life itself. This is not about feeling better. This is about being better. This is not a therapeutic session designed to soothe your anxieties. It is a combat protocol designed to make you effective. You have been given the operating system, the dichotomy of control. Now, you will learn how to run the software. You will learn how to forge mental armor, not from wishful thinking, but from the cold, hard steel of execution. This is the process. It is simple, but it is not easy. It demands your full attention and your unwavering commitment. First, the moment you feel the pull of victimhood, you will stop. You must develop a hyper-awareness of this internal shift. It is a subtle poison. It begins as a quiet whisper of blame when your project is criticized. It manifests as a surge of frustration when you're stuck in traffic, late for a meeting. It's the sigh of resignation when you look at your bank account. In that instant, your posture changes, your breathing becomes shallow, and your mind begins to construct a narrative where you are the hero suffering at the hands of an unjust world. This is the signal. This is the red alert. Do not ignore it. Do not indulge it. The instant you detect the scent of complaint, the urge to blame, the feeling of powerlessness, you must freeze your current mental state. You will mentally state the source of the feeling with brutal honesty. Acknowledge it, not to validate it, but to identify it as a target. Second, You will run this target through the dichotomy of control. You will ask one and only one question. Is this thing, this source of my frustration, within my direct and immediate sphere of control? The answer must be a simple yes or a simple no. There is no middle ground. There is no maybe if or sort of. Did your boss give the promotion to someone else? The final decision is not in your control. No. Is the economy in a downturn? Not in your control. No. Did your partner have a bad day and bring that energy into the house? Their mood is not in your control. No. Is your body genetically predisposed to holding weight in certain areas? Not in your control. No. This question is a blade. Its purpose is to sever the emotional attachment to outcomes you cannot command. It is the most ruthless form of triage for your mental energy. Third, if the answer is no, you will label the issue as noise, and you will discard it. It is static. It is irrelevant to your mission. To dwell on it is to willingly hand your power over to the chaos of the universe. You are a soldier on a battlefield. You cannot be distracted by the color of the sky or the sound of the wind. These things are simply conditions, not objectives. When you label something as noise, you are making a conscious decision to render it powerless. You will then, physically, immediately, turn your attention and your actions to a task that is 100% within your control. You did not get the promotion? Discard the noise of the injustice. Your new mission: open your laptop and spend 1 hour acquiring a new skill that makes you undeniable for the next opportunity. That is in your control. Fourth, if the answer is yes, you will define the very next physical action you can take to influence it. Not a grand plan, not a 5-year strategy. The smallest, most immediate, most tangible step. And you will execute that action immediately. Not later. Not when you feel motivated. Not after you've had a coffee. Now. Is your physical fitness in a state of decay? That is in your control. The next physical action is not get a six-pack. It is put on your running shoes and walk out the door. Is your room a mess, reflecting a chaotic mind? That is in your control. The next action is not clean the house. It is pick up one piece of trash and put it in the bin. This is how momentum is built. This is how inertia is broken. This is how mental armor is forged. One brutal, relentless application of logic over emotion. One small, decisive action at a time. This is the way of the executor. Your training begins with your next conscious thought. This is not a metaphor. The protocol you have just received is not a self-help tip to be considered later. It is an active command, effective immediately. For the next 24 hours, you are on trial. The judge is your own integrity. The jury is your own action. The evidence will be your every response to the world around you. There is no other metric for success. The next time you feel the familiar sting of frustration, the next time you open your mouth to complain about the traffic or your boss or the economy, you have failed the test. The moment you blame an external force for your internal state, you have surrendered. You have reverted to the 99%. You have chosen to remain a victim. But the next time you feel that same sting, and you pause, and you run the feeling through the dichotomy of control, the next time you identify what is noise and what is signal, and you take one single, immediate action on the signal, you have passed. You have won that skirmish. This will not be easy. Your mind has been conditioned for years, perhaps decades, to seek the path of least resistance. The victim mindset is a comfortable prison. It absolves you of all responsibility. When you blame the world, you don't have to do the hard work of changing yourself. That old self, that weak and complaining voice in your head, will fight back with the ferocity of a cornered animal. It will tell you this is foolish. It will whisper that your anger is justified, that your complaint is valid. It will try to convince you that surrendering to your feelings is the same as being authentic. This is the most dangerous lie you have ever been told. That voice is not you. It is the architect of your weakness. It is the warden of your self-imposed prison. Your mission over these next 24 hours and every hour that follows is to starve that voice. You do not argue with it. You do not negotiate. You simply ignore it and execute the protocol. You act. Every time you pass the test, something profound happens. You are not just solving a problem. You are recoding your entire being. You are taking a single neuron of weakness and overwriting it with a neuron of strength. You are layering one thin sheet of mental armor over another. Over time, these layers compound. They become an impenetrable fortress. The opinions of others become what they truly are: noise. The uncontrollable events of the world become what they truly are: data points, not personal attacks. Your energy, once scattered and wasted raging against the storm, becomes a focused, disciplined instrument. You stop being a leaf in the wind, and you become the wind itself. You are no longer a reactor to circumstance. You are the creator of your circumstance. This is the ultimate power. It is the quiet, unshakable authority that emanates from a man who knows without a doubt that he is in command of the only thing that has ever mattered: himself. The time for listening is over. The time for theory has passed. Now, there is only action. I want to see the men who have truly understood this transmission. I want to identify the 1% who are ready to stop being victims and start being weapons, forged for their own purpose. Go to the comments section now. You will write a declaration. This is not for me, it is for you. It is a public commitment to your new operating system, a signal that you have received this command and will execute it without hesitation. Write this exact phrase: ownership is my only option. This is your first act of control. Subscribe for your next set of orders. Do not be late.